Maybe you caught a phrase there in Ms. Chisolm's speech when she talked about the, quote, disgusting playing of divisive politics. Well, some things never seem to change, though Shirley Chisolm certainly tried her hardest, and she did bring other kinds of change. She was the first African-American woman to be elected to the U.S. Congress, yes? The first African-American woman to announce her candidacy for the presidency of the U.S., and the first Democratic woman of any kind or color to run for that office.
During our special throwback to the 70s, we'd be remiss if we didn't reflect on her life and political legacy, and her role as an important source of inspiration and hope. And here to help us do just that is an old friend of BK Live, Esmeralda Simmons, the founder and executive director of the Center for Law and Social Justice at Medgar Evers College. She has fond memories of Shirley Chisolm from when she, Esmeralda, was a law school student beginning her career. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much. And Shirley Chisolm will forever remain an icon in Brooklyn. Not only did she break barriers, she actually elevated an entire people's belief in the political system, because before then many people thought, oh, no, can't do that. If we're Caribbean, no, that's not going to happen. You know, immigrants are not welcome. And women really don't belong in politics. So what she did, Leslie McHolder holding her hand every step of the way, was nothing short of miraculous and inspiring. Yeah. The other thing I want to say is that I've worked with many elected officials. She had one of the most effective and efficient district offices of any elected official I ever met.
Tell us about that. Tell us about some of those accomplishments.
Yes, this is very on the ground level. People would ask me what they could do about things like deferments from the military, things like their housing stock, getting into public housing, what they could do about public education. And I would send them to Ms. Chisolm's office, which was in the heart of Crown Heights, and people would come back to me and say, it's done. She did it. I got it. And I was like, what? It happened? Something happened? Yeah. Her staff were committed, because she made them be committed to solving problems, not just being a good ear, but solving problems. And she was effective, and she was vocal on education issues, poverty issues. And she did things that nobody else would do on the floor of Congress.
So set the scene for us, because you introduced some of those elements as to what it was like in Brooklyn back in that very specific time. We were like, Vietnam was, and Nixon's involvement and all that stuff, and education, and really enforcing the civil rights gains that had been made, like in a real world way. And I remember at the dedication of the federal building over here, David Dinkins told a story about Shirley Chisolm going to Congress and being put on some farm committee.
Yes, agriculture.
Yes, that this woman from the middle of Brooklyn was on the agriculture committee, and she fought and got off that committee and did something more impactful for her community.
Exactly. Yeah, she worked on the education committee, and she did Ways and Means work in Congress, which only the senior people did. Exactly. Because she knew that that was like the joint that was holding congressional policy together. But the thing about Shirley Chisolm that many people miss is the fact that she was very, very, very committed to children and students, very committed. And, you know, she did not believe that our students should get a poor quality education. So she fought for educational gains when she was in Congress. And she did things like come out against the Vietnam War when that was not popular, very unpopular. One thing she said, though, that I thought was very, very significant. She said after her run that the hardest thing about her run was not being a black person. The hardest thing about her run was being a woman. Because people did not believe that women had the capacity to run, hey, it's ironic, right? to run a country.
Right.
And that was before there were so many women running countries around the world.
Right.
But the bias against women was significant. And coming from her, and she did the tour around the country, coming from her, it really rang true. Bella Abzug was standing right there next to her, supporting her, and both of them were saying that Shirley Chisolm is speaking the truth when she says that what occurs in Congress, what occurs on the street level, is still true today.
Yeah. What do you think with the political landscape, what it is now? We know that a woman won the popular vote, so the country was ready. The Electoral College is a different matter, but how much of Shirley Chisholm's legacy was manifested in Hillary Clinton's popular win and run?
Exactly. Well, it's Shirley Chisholm's shadow is very long and it's mighty. Because she did what she did, Hillary Clinton could go places and say, I'm the best person for the job. I'm the best human being for the job.
Yeah.
Shirley Chisolm had to fight that battle, had to stand up and say that a woman could do this and a woman places in the White House. I was happy to hear Hillary Clinton actually speak to that during her campaign and acknowledge what Shirley Chisolm had done. But believe me, it was a different time then, and she got more than just his stat, okay? She got called the N-word, she got called, little lady go home.
Weren't there assassination
Yeah,
attempts?
absolutely. Please. Any black person that rises to prominence, there's assassination attempts. Yeah, people, of course, the Klan and them said that, she wouldn't make it into the White House. But, she was fearless.
Yeah.
Right.
And she was going to do what had to be done. But that type of courage is rare. Is rare. And she knew going in that this was going to be difficult, but she actually went in to win. She didn't go. This wasn't not publicity. This was not just to make a statement. No, this was a real run.
Right.
And that's what shocked people locally. I heard, my parents and them said, she nuts. A black woman. And I said,
no, but tell us more about that.
Yeah.
You were there.
About your family and you, yeah.
Right, there's the kitchen table conversation part, and you being a young law student, African American woman moving in these circles. What was it like in school? And we know debate gets heated when you're in college and at home. So what was the feeling then?
The feeling then, most people were incredulous. All right, because it was not in their capacity to think.
Just a conception.
Right. She had just been elected congressman.
Exactly. And some of them just stay in Congress, you're doing that. And other people were like, well, if she's doing it, I'm behind her. I'm behind her. But the first couple of days, it was like, it's almost out of who does she think she is?
She's doing too much.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, the real question became, well, why is it too much?
Right.
I was pushing those questions, pushing that all. Why do you think she's doing too much? Why not Shirley Chisolm? Why not Shirley? Show me anybody that's beat her record. And of course, once you went into record, what she had done, all of the debate disappeared. And then pride started emerging.
Gotcha.
People got very excited about the fact that here was this woman. And there was, of course, all the question, she is obviously Caribbean origin. So the question became, well, she's Caribbean, will she be the president for everybody? And the good news was that she had said in her opening speech,
From the very beginning,
I'm the president for all of the people.
So, in your opinion, who's the heir apparent? Who is, like we've seen from Hillary to Lori Cumbo, people standing on the shoulders, but is there an heir apparent who you think has that spark, who is willing to go out there and really push things and be unbought and unbossed?
Well, you already mentioned the name. We're sitting right now in the district, in a city council district that is that has a representative by the name of Lori Cumbo. Her office is even in the Shirley Chisolm building. I think she's the obvious heir apparent. She is bright, she is people conscious, and she's the kind of person that is not afraid to step out. She is the unbought, modern day Shirley Chisolm. Striking differences when you look at them, but the essence of the person, because one thing I could say about, and she's not the only one, there's like a gang of 7, an assembly of black women, many of them from the Caribbean, who are holding it down on the state level. But on moving forward, I really do see Ms. Cumbo as stepping forward and being the new era's Shirley Chisolm.
But what we have here is a still commemorating the stamp that they made commemorating Shirley last year, which I feel like was a long time in coming, some sort of honor like this big. Why isn't Shirley more of a household name at this point?
Well, you know, the good news is that last year there was like a Shirley Chisolm revival. You know, everybody wanted to do something for Shirley Chisolm, but it wasn't just a stamp. So I think that now, you know, I don't even want to mention the month, you know, of February, where that's the only time people want to talk about Black history. But Shirley Chisolm was featured very prominently last year, and I think she will be featured going forward because of presidential elections, because of all the inroads that she made, because she's from Brooklyn, because she said what had to be said, and she led the fight at that time.
So before we get out of here, I want to know, what do you think Donald Trump could learn from Shirley Chisolm? If you could...
Modesty, humility, being for the people. Looking out for the poorest of the poor, looking out for people who are homeless, being sincere, and speaking the truth. A whole bunch.
A whole bunch.
A whole bunch.
A whole bunch. Here's a mural of her that we have here in Brooklyn. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Esmeralda.
I remain inspired by Shirley Chisolm, so it's an honor.